back in action.
First order of business, who is Jalen?
Who is Jalen? Jalen is many things. He's a man of many shoes. He's a son. He's a brother. He's a hard worker. He could be a father somewhere out there. Not to his knowledge, but no, he's a hard worker. He's loving. He's reliable. He's loyal. He gets it out the mud. Yeah, that's me.
So, I'm probably gonna use that as an audio for a reel with B-roll. I'll probably use that as that. I think that'd be fire.
That's fine.
Let me see it. So who is Jalen? Who's Jalen? Who is Jalen? That's good. What else do you want to talk about? Is there anything on your mind?
Not really. I mean, I guess I could go a little more into depth on that. A little more broad, yeah.
Yeah, we can go from there.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Richmond, Indiana. My father left at 6, so basically I was raised by a single mom from then. She moved me and my 2 sisters to Indianapolis, Indiana, when I was in 8th grade.
From Richmond?
From Richmond, Indiana. So that's about an hour west of Richmond. But it's completely, different vibes. So it was the first time I was really exposed to like a bigger city. Even though it's not, like a huge city, it's just a lot different than Richmond was, because Richmond's more of a small town.
Do you feel like you got some of your entrepreneurship spirit from that city?
From Indianapolis? Yeah, for sure. I think that was the first time I really was exposed to like more luxury things. Mm-hmm. So like kids driving to school in Range Rovers and Camaros and, like wearing releases that just came out Friday.
Damn, because you were going to school out there.
Right, yeah. So I went after my 8th grade year. So 1st grade through 8th grade, I spent in Richmond, Indiana. And then 8th grade summer, my mom moved us to Indianapolis. So I was going into high school, my 9th grade year, and I'm now being exposed to 4,000, 5,000 kids in one school. So it's like, double, triple the size of what I was used to. Yeah, that was people were completely different. It was like when you think of a movie, like the high school movies, that was
football, cheerleaders.
That was North Central. So you had everything. You had, the hood niggas. You had the jocks. You had the geeks. You had the band members. You had the athletes.
The money getters.
You had, different gangs and like,
Hispanic gangs in Indiana?
Hispanic gangs, black gangs. Oh, bro, I'll take you down 38th Street, anywhere on the east side, Post Road. There's a lot of different places where it's called Afghanistan for a reason.
What the fuck? I never known Afghanistan.
Because you ain't been to Afghanistan, you know what I mean?
Dog.
You might have been to Indianapolis. You might have been to Indianapolis, but you haven't probably made it over to the Afghanistan part. Yeah. But yeah, it gets treacherous over there. I've seen a lot. Been to a few high school parties where there was shootings, and had some friends died of shootings. So at parties, yeah, driving away from parties. Yeah. There was just about a shootout after every party or inside of the parties. Yeah. So luckily I had my mom is like, she was very protective, but she also like let us explore basically, right? So I think that's important for parents to let kids be themselves, but still protect them from danger. You know what I mean? You can't just like fetch them to the wolves, but you also can't like overprotect them to where they're not exposed to certain things. Wow. And they can't, because I feel like that's where you grow, like in your experiences and your trials and tribulations is where you really become who you are. So if your parents are always fighting your battles, or your parents are always like, keeping your schedule for you, making sure you're doing certain things, or like just staying on top of you all the time, or else it won't get done. I feel like that's where you're like setting yourself up for failure. But being a good parent, doing those things is like setting your kid up for success, but then they have to take that out into the world themselves and be themselves comfortably, and take the knowledge that you instilled into them, the morals and the ethnic side of you. Like,
I got a good point that relates to that. Let me see this one. I got a good point that relates to that. I think entrepreneurship. The reason I love entrepreneurship is because it's the highest form of expression. It's like, if you want to be an artist at the highest level, do entrepreneurship. Right. If you want to play a sport at the highest level, do entrepreneurship. And I feel like that is the grooming of like how your parent grooms you as you grow up, gears you better or worse for entrepreneurship. Right. Because I feel like everyone's got a little bit of entrepreneurship in them. Yeah. It's just a matter of like how you're built up, or how you're wired just as a human, and then how you are brought up as well. I think that makes a huge difference in great entrepreneurs and good entrepreneurs, and then people who dive into entrepreneurship a little bit or a lot or not at all.
Yeah, nah, for sure. That's a great point, because I grew up playing sports, and I feel like...
What sports was you playing?
I played basketball, baseball, football.
I fucking sucked at baseball.
Yeah, baseball was really like, that was my thing. Like, that was my thing. I actually played baseball all the way through college, so.
Wow, dope. I don't know. Sick.
Yeah. So, baseball was like, I was like Barry Bonds, like, just smacking shit, straight up. Baseball was it. I just loved like hitting the hell out the baseball, like, ding. Yeah, that sound, whether that or a wood bat, like just the sound off of a baseball bat, it's like why I play baseball. But yeah, back to like what I was saying about my mom, I was lucky that she had like both. She had like a good balance between like letting me do me and still like protecting me.
Do entrepreneurship,
right?
But live like have a career,
right? So she's not an entrepreneur like herself. She didn't really instill like specific entrepreneurship.
You didn't see entrepreneurship through her.
Right, but she like instilled like the morals of entrepreneurship. Of a good entrepreneur, if that makes sense. Yeah. So yeah, I was very fortunate for that. And then my sisters are tremendous as well. Like my older sister, she's amazing. She's like, well, they're both, my younger sister's like 5 years younger than me, but still is like having another mom. Like, it's incredible. So like, it's like having 3 moms. So it's kind of a blessing and a curse at the same time. They really like keep me on my shit. So that's nice. But yeah, so I was an athlete as well. I got a lot of like my team camaraderie and like my competitiveness. I was
gonna ask you that. Like, what were some of the traits or like some lessons you took from baseball or from basketball and translated into the music industry or to the finance industry?
I think the biggest lesson that has always stuck with me came from my coach, Coach Morrow, Mike Morrow. He taught me this my senior year of high school, that we have the ability to write our own book. So basically, essentially what he's saying is like, we have the ability to do things in real time that will tell our story. So we want to make sure that story is...
Tell the right story.
You know what I'm saying? The story can be however we make it. If we live through struggle and bad and negativity, that's going to be our story, to live with. But if we're living through like knowing we're giving it our all, knowing that, we're doing positive in the world, then we can live and die by that story. And I think that was very powerful. But outside of that, just some traits are like, the basic like teamwork, and like I was always one of the better players on the team. So like a lot of other players like looked up to me, and I was always like a leader of the team. I was always, very vocal on the court or on the field. So that helps a lot with being vocal in business, even though I'm more of like a chill guy. Like I'm a man of few words unless I really have something to say. So like, yeah, sports really taught me like how to communicate with people to better not only my situation, but the team's, other people's situation as well. Because knowing that I can pour into you and you can get better and that can help me is like a no-brainer. Like, why would I not help you?
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people miss that not being in sports.
Right.
They don't understand that if
teamwork,
I help you,
yeah.
it makes my job easier.
Exactly. If I can rely on you, then I can rely on winning. But if I can't rely on you and I can rely on my teammates, then the winning is going to be a little shaky. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
So,
right, because I'm still going to do my part. I'm
right,
going to shine.
yeah, but that's
it
not
takes
what
a
it
team.
takes. Yeah, it takes more than that. It takes a team, a community, fans, critics, a culture. Yeah, it takes all of those things, and that's even outside of sports. That's in life.
That's a really interesting point that you make. I relate to that when it comes to like entertainment.
Right.
Where you can't just have a movie star. You need an audience.
Yeah.
And you need critics to fuel the audience to go want to watch the movie more.
Right. Yeah.
How do you deal with the critics and the haters in entrepreneurship?
I really learned to like just not give a fuck like at all. Like I could really care less like what people say or think about me. Like,
how did you cultivate that? Like, where does that come from?
I think it comes from my mom, honestly. Just telling me to be me, like all the time. Like, don't try to fake somebody that you're not. Because then you have to keep up with that, and then it's just making it harder than just being yourself. And people are either going to like you or they're not. People are going to take the information or they're not. People are going to learn from the information or they're not. But, to me, I'm just going to be me, because that's what you're going to get when you meet me and when you see me. So
that's what it is.
That's what it is.
And it's always going to be that.
It's always going to be that. You're not going to be able to change that. I can change, I'm not like stubborn to where I won't, develop. Yeah, I definitely develop, and I'm still currently developing, and I take criticism and I, better myself from experiences and talking to people and, stuff like that as well.
Can we see the mic? I'm going to do a quick, Yo, family, what's good? This is Nate, this is Jalen, this is another podcast type video. It's not really a podcast for real. I guess it is because we're conversating, but I need to get like all the proper equipment to be a podcast for real, if you will. But right now we're batch shooting reels for Jalen's Instagram page and for the agency that we're a part of, that we're building. And yeah, we're just talking about his story, talking about entrepreneurship, and we're just gonna have a good time. So y'all enjoy. I was gonna segue and ask something else, but I forgot. Damn it. I was gonna say that this conversation will probably be really, really good for me to create a reel, a second reel or a second post that'll accompany and that will complement your Start Here post really well. Because the Start Here is like the written version of your story. And it's also like a guide to like steer them in the direction of like why you create content, and what to expect, what I'm saying, that whole idea. And then the reel will be like the visual video version of you telling that story and giving some more direction, some more insight into your life as well. I think that would be a really good pinned post to make as well, more about like who Jalen is. So that would be good. This is a good conversation, really good reels. I think there's a bunch of like really good reels in this conversation. Something else. Is there anything else that comes to mind that you wanted to hit real quick while we're on that conversation of like who is Jalen?
I guess I can gear it a little bit more towards like financial services.
Yeah, like how did you? Like touch a little bit more on that. Like why financial services?
Okay, so who is Jalen? I'm a professional.
Financial strategist.
Yeah, financial services professional. I'm I'm really into investing and, teaching people wealth and achieving wealth myself, not only for myself though, but for my family, my community. I plan to do big things. I'm a big dreamer. So like I have huge dreams of changing people's life, changing my community.
I think what was super dope that you mentioned earlier that I resonated with, but I never like was fully conscious of, was that you would change the entire economy of Richmond.
Right.
Like you would just bring business to Richmond. I thought that was
Yeah.
gangster. That was dope.
No, yeah. My plan is to change, that is a specific plan, is to change the economy of Richmond, Indiana. So I even joke about it sometimes of being the mayor of Richmond. But I honestly, like, I would do something like that way later on in my life. But for now, I see change in Richmond being educating people on financial independence, financial freedom, life insurance, real estate, investing, dividends,
Yeah, just the basic,
the
like
basics,
budgeting.
the
Yeah,
basics
saving.
all the way back to, your financial blueprint and budgeting and spending. And, I've been learning a lot about private banking. So, reclaiming your birthrights, as far as like the government owning our social security number right now and being able to reclaim that back into our family trust, building our own family tribes. So I'm still digging into this information currently, so I don't want to speak too much on it because, I don't really like speaking on things that I'm not, too educated on. But I have all the indentures and paperwork ready now, that I'm going to be, putting onto deed paper and getting it officially ranked through the county, so that I'm going to be starting my family trust, with me, my mom, my sisters as the trustees, and I'll be reclaiming my royal deed, and going back.
That's real wealth.
Yeah, real wealth, all the way back to, the day I was born. So if you don't know this, on your birth certificate, it's the date you were born and then the date that was registered. There's 2 dates on your birth certificate. So you need both of those dates in order to reclaim, your identity. So like we're not, citizens of the United States. We're citizens of the kingdom of heaven. That's truly who we're citizens of.
Right.
And that's what we're reclaiming through these deeds, so that, we're able to do the same things that these private institutions are doing and these wealthy families like that run the world are doing, And there's a lot to it, but a lot of people have different views about it, when it comes to like tax implications and stuff like that. But yeah, it's out there. The information's out there. It's available to everyone. It's something that a lot of wealthy people are doing, including our presidents. So if the presidents are doing it, why are we not doing it? Right? So it's just about that when it comes to my legacy and changing the, economy of Richmond. I plan on teaching that to everyone. I plan on implementing that, rebuilding the infrastructure, the real estate, the community, the education, the private education, and even getting into like the school systems and, changing things. Like the curriculum right now, I come from a family of school teachers, so I'm very familiar with like,
oh wow, dope.
Yeah, like
Dope. Wow.
from generations, yeah. Wow. So that's why personally I don't believe in the school systems currently, the public school systems.
You know it on both sides.
Because I know it,
it
yeah.
very well on both sides.
So I really believe in private education and teaching your kids from a young age valuable information that really is going to translate in real life, and not just, what the government is like molding these kids to be.
I was having a badass conversation with the CEO of the production company, it was a while back, but there's the CEO of the production company I'm working with. She was telling me this, like, she was telling me about her background because I was doing like some discovery stuff that I do with you with her,
Right.
and we were just getting into her story, and it was crazy because like she's got like super 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 rich culture from her dad's side and from her mom's side. And without going too much into detail on it, she was brought up from like a very very left and a very very right side, being that mom was just like a foreigner from another country. Yo, I'm just trying to get in. Let me get the best education for my kid possible, the American way. And then the dad was like, he's foreigner too, but like he understands a lot more about the United States. And so he was like, hell nah, I don't want her to do none of that. And so they compromised on sending her to school, but when she would come back, she would do essays on MLK, on Malcolm X, on leaders like that, and so she would better understand her culture. Super, super dope, bro. Crazy combo. That's what that reminds me of. So, like, taking it full circle, that is your reasoning as to why being in the financial services industry.
Right. So that's the main reason why. But that does bring a great point in like my upbringing. So my mom was adopted, right, by two white grandparents. So, and then my dad is obviously full black. My family, you know, street entrepreneurs, street pharmacists, real, you know what I mean? So I have a little bit of traits of both. Like I have the street side and I have like the nurturing school, you know, smarts as well. But it was crazy a few years ago. My mom did like
The ancestry.
one of those,
Yeah.
the DNA thing. So come to find out, her biological mom actually is white, and her dad was black.
That's crazy.
So I was raised by white grandparents, and really like my blood is really has white in it as well. Like my sister did it. We have both same mom and dad. She did it. She's like 30 something percent like white, like London white. Yeah.
Tight.
Yeah.
Fancy white.
Fancy white. Royalty. Yeah, but yeah, it's crazy though, because I think that molded me a lot too, just being able to see both sides of the world, and I experienced both sides. Like,
Right. I got to learn and experience both sides.
Like real deal.
Dope. Nah, I feel the same way when I was coming up. I feel the same way. When I was coming up, my mom was all about school, job, no streets, none of that. And my pops is like the complete opposite, like type to have a grow in a room inside the house type. So it was like, it was very much so both sides of the spectrum, and I relate to that a lot because I think that's the reason why I'm so easily like adaptable to whatever situation or to whatever person, because I understand what it's like being a very anxious street dude and being a very calm just mom. And so and then even like vice versa, it's been very very dope for me to like grow up and see how that has played a factor in my life, because I'm just so like easy to talk to, because I can relate to you on both spectrums at the same time. Another topic I wanted to hit, since we're kind of in the season of it, I think it'll be really great content, politics. I want to talk about, I don't know shit about the policies. That's what I really am interested in. Like, what's the paperwork say, right? Like, what's the policy say? So for me, not knowing anything about the policies, only seeing like glimpses of like interviews or like stuff that they say, what is your like thought process, or like how do you go about gaining information and then synthesizing that and then like developing like an opinion from that?
I feel like that's a great question for real, and it's a tough one, honestly, because there's so much.
Real touchy,
There's so much that goes into it, as far as like, the sensitivity to it. You don't know how sensitive some people are to even like talk about it to them, which makes it like really weird for me because like we talked about earlier, like I'm someone that seeks answers. So when I come to you for an answer and
you're dodging it a little bit,
or yeah, like
or
your
you're offended
energy
by
is
it.
like, yeah, you get offended or something, like it just becomes very weird for me to like operate in that space. And that's why I'm the same way. I don't like know too much about politics or like
I just try and stay out the way.
yeah, but I do understand like there's real implications for like who's in office and like how we're able to pass certain laws and bills. But yeah, I just think it's very manipulated when it comes to the media. So it's hard to like take these clips or like quick little interactions and really make too much of them. I think people should really dig deeper into like who these people are, what these clips are about, and not just take them on the surface level. Um, but yeah, I think overall, I think America is just a little like lost right now when it comes to politics and like who to vote for and like why to vote for them. But I know that I am for like equality and like better in the lives of our people, all people. So yeah, I don't know if I'll actually be voting this year.
Yeah, I don't know either. I looked at the ballot and I was like, bruh, like, do I even want to do this?
Yeah, I think both are like could be great presidents, but I do have some disagreements with Donald Trump.
Sides.
Yeah, but definitely on both sides. But I just feel like the world can't be ran off of like money and like money making you powerful, because that just it creates a lot of greed and it creates a lot of like manipulation and evil, because money is the root of all evil. So like if the world is ran off of that and our president is ran by that and can just say whatever, I think it becomes a very scary place. But then again, like we do need to be at the top of our game when it comes to
Our economy.
our economy and negotiating and strengthening economically, right? So I'm yeah, not really.
Weird,
I don't get too much into it. It works me up for no reason.
Right.
But yeah, I understand it. I know that because even the Bible and like heaven, it's all politics, right? It's all laws and that's like what the purpose of it. I think the intentions of it was supposed to be, but it's just gotten to be like the government. Yeah, but
talk about that a little more. Like, how does politics and religion relate?
So the government, like the kingdom of heaven is like the government of all of this, of creation,
right, of the world.
Right. So governments are ran through laws, right? So there's specific laws through the kingdom of heaven that you're supposed to live by. Same for here, like with the government here.
You steal a car, it's not gonna be good.
Exactly. There's specific laws that you have to live by. Now it gets a lot deeper than just that though. So there's like obviously the religious side of things when it comes to religions and like claiming a certain group, right? Which is something that I don't personally partake in. Like I'm very strong believer in God, but I don't claim to be like Christian or anything like of a religious group. I think a lot of the laws and how we can operate is the same way with like the Bible. Like we have to actually read them and interpretate them to actually get our true freedom and our true birthrights. So I think they're very close in correlation. If we want true freedom and like true happiness, like you have to really like study the laws, like both laws.
Even in the sense of like there being like an ultimate judge and jury God.
Exactly.
And then like us having a judge and jury down here.
Right.
And an executioner.
Yeah.
Or just like even just the everyday people and then the priests.
Right.
Like who gives some kind of order to this chaos that we create.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's big right now is like with democracy and you know, that's like what's being pushed by Democrats. It's like we're gonna lose our freedom. Yeah, like our, you know.
We're steering even farther away from the original blueprint.
Right. And then it's like, you know, it's just a little manipulated, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. Because
with the parties and
it's interesting, bro.
And how laws can be passed and like
it's
how the voting works.
Intricate system, like all the little ninks and
loopholes. I feel like, you know, it's all built like that for a reason. Mm-hmm. It's built for the dumb not to understand it. And to keep them dumb.
For the bad to take advantage and for the good to fight.
To suffer. So it's like if you don't understand it, you're never going to really like get it. You have to understand the structure of it before you can understand what's really going on.
That makes sense. That's a really good point. Like first let me hear all the laws. Who's the judge? Who is the authority enforcing it? And then like how do these laws play a factor into my day-to-day life?
Exactly.
Dope. And that's a really good point.
Right.
That's a good way to say it. Why these laws are structured the way they are to protect certain things.
And that's the thing with like the royal deed and the private banking I was telling you about earlier is to claim these rights, we're actually using scriptures, right? Like the real original laws is being held up in U.S. court or, you know, in the government. It's because they were also created from that, right?
Right. That's why they say like, or like, put your hand on the Bible and then confess that you're telling the truth and then give your testimony.
Right. Yeah.
Damn, that's dope. I never thought about that. Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. This, ladies and gentlemen, is why you should vote for
Nathan Morales.
Jalen for mayor. I'm good.
Yeah, I don't really got too much more to talk about.
Whew. Nah, that's plenty of content, bro. Shit. Plenty of like this kind of style format content. Let me see. All right, y'all. We're out of here. That was a cool 30-minute podcast interview, whatever you want to call it, episode. I'm gonna catch you on the flip side. I'm gonna probably do some more of these where I interview like other entrepreneurs and stuff. This seems like a pretty simple, dope, fun setup, so I'll probably do some more of these. Let me know in the comments if y'all think I should do more of these. Me and Jalen about to shoot some more reels, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace, love, 100.